Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Tuesday afternoon, August 11th. And we're looking at the last 6 days of the SPY ETF's market profile. I'm showing you that for a reason, as after gapping higher today, staying above yesterday's high for most of the day, L&M, and L's becoming just as bad as M lately, do their little dance, not only shake out weak longs from today, but remember we said this morning, if the buyers aren't getting much, they're going to start giving it up. Well, then once we started coming down and got into yesterday's range, well, then they started panicking. We got longs out from this day. We started getting longs out from this day. We go out with a trend day down, a price probe, and an outside day down where we took out yesterday's high but closed below yesterday's low. Value, which was higher all day, closes unchanged as we finished above yesterday's high and below yesterday's low value. The interesting thing was we had an 8-wide POC. The odds of a 9-wide POC were very, very good. Never got it. But we also never lowered it, and it was actually raised at one point today. So before everybody on Twitter and CNBC start going crazy, screaming, sell will come, I told you, let's put things in perspective and context. We said this morning that it would be healthy. It would be healthy for this market to trade sideways or pull back, even get this gap I've mentioned a bunch of times before going for the all-time high, right? We said that. Now this morning when we gapped higher and we stayed up here, it looked like, well, maybe they don't want to do that. We're going to continue to stay up here and at some point in the near future, get the all-time high. But what they love to do is to torture and get both sides out of the game, right? Everybody started piling in long here. Everybody's buying 340 calls and higher for this week. We're going. And what happens? They pull the rug out from underneath them, and all those people that were long up here in both the ETF futures and the calls now start dumping them and start shorting them. And now they're like, well, the end of the world's coming, we're going. And at some point, they'll get those guys in a hole and then finally go up and get the high. As long as we stay above, I don't care if this gap fills. I think it would be healthy. Again, we just stopped the one-time framing down today. In the last time frame, we took out yesterday's low and that poor low. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if we get this gap, I have no problem with it. I would like to hold the weekly and monthly gap, right? So if we get down to the 330, 328 level and hold it and then start going back up to the all-time highs, it's actually healthier for this market because you repair some poor structure. So before everybody starts screaming that the end of the world's coming, let's put things in perspective and context. Now, did I see this coming after the day we were having? No, I didn't. And actually had to take a nice size put at one point to save myself from a call I had, because when you're 8 wide and you have value higher and you couldn't take out the day's low all day, no, I didn't expect this. Once we took out B's low, did I expect to get yesterday's POC? Absolutely. I told you, and again, I'm in like 9-tick increments, so this looks very small. But once you get accepted into M's range, you trade it and you're going to get to the POC. That's exactly what we did. Now, when we took out much more than that, was I surprised? Yes, I was. Made money on it, but I was surprised. Now, so let's get to my trades from today, right? Everybody's got to be calm, cool, have your destinations, reference points, have a game plan, so when things do get more exasperated than I expected, well, then you take corrective action. I was long 35 calls when they started ripping. I made sure I bought 100 puts to take care of that. So A period, we gap higher. I played all of Wednesday's expirations. I took along the 335 calls in A period twice while the gap was holding. 2 times made money on them. They were nice trades. Then in B period, when we took out A's low, I immediately jumped on a 337 put play because there's no way this gap was holding. The question was what was going to happen at M's high. Do you get accepted or not? Again, it's so tough to tell because I'm in, what am I in? I'm in 9-tick increments because I want to get the whole profile. If you put it into ones, you're going to see how much more visual it was where it didn't look like it got accepted into there. So I took my put play off once we filled the gap. It was a very, very nice trade. So what did I do in D? I said we were one time framing down. C took out B's high. I did not do anything in C. I said if we take out C's high and get above the opening, I will go long because I expect us to test the opening. And I did that with a 336 call, and it worked out nicely. Now, a bunch of guys in our room did very nice fades. They faded D, E, F, G, you name it, they faded it. I didn't do any of those. I was looking for a new high to fade, right? I'm a little more particular with that because especially since we were hanging around this level, I thought if we did pop the day's high, maybe do we get acceleration and finally go for the all-time high? We weren't that far away from it, right? We're only $2 away from it. So that's why I was getting a little pickier. So I finally took my short in I period. When it didn't take out H's high, took the short back down to POC. That was a nice trade. Now we start coming in. At the time, I thought F was the afternoon pullback low. And I had missed that because I'd gone to get lunch. Well, J came down. Once J took out F's low, now you have to realize value low at the time was right here. Picture it at F's low. So I got long around here. At F's low, value low, and actually made some money on that trade because it came down, went back up. I was trading the 335 calls. I thought all we were getting was weak longs in H, I, and J puking. Well, it continued in K. And again, this time I took longs against the day's low. And again, I made money on it. Wasn't staying married to any of them. I did the 335 calls again and made money on them. Okay. Now here's why I got myself in a little bit of trouble. I did that again in L. But the problem was I bought the 337 calls because I really thought we were going to take out K's high and get back to POC. I really thought all this was weak longs getting out, H, I, J, K, beginning of L. Value was higher. We would hold the day's low, go back to POC. Well, obviously that didn't happen. We didn't even take out K's high. It was a bit of a head fake. We missed it by 3 cents. I didn't get long up here. I got long more towards K's low. And then the flush started happening. I had bought 50 of them. And they were out of the money. So I got out of some of them for a couple of pennies lost. I still long 35 of them when we started flushing. But I bought 100 of the 336 puts at $1.70. And I'm telling you, as soon as I bought them, they just ripped lower. Made a quick 35 cents on them. Got out of the longs. I ended up losing $1,700 on that long. I made $3,500 on the put. So net, I made $1,800 on that play. And believe me, if I had held on to that put play, I would have made a lot more. I really didn't think we were going to just absolutely flush below M's low and keep going. That was the only play I took. I think I took a small long in M that I made small on. Yeah, I think it was a 333 call small, but that was nothing. So I could have made a lot more on that put play. But again, I didn't think we were going to do as much damage as we did. So it was a good day. That put play helped tremendously. Let's go over destinations for tomorrow. So, man, these get very interesting on the upside. So we closed at 332.80. So our upside destinations are L's low, which is the price probe. That's at 333.56. Then we have the single prints. They start at 334.83, get filled at 335.54. M's high to B's low. Then above that, we don't have anything to today's high of 337.54. And then we have that single print from February 20th. It held by one tick at 337.55. Talk about mechanical. Then on the downside, we have today's low of 332.01. Then we have the daily low of 331. 13 and then filling the gap at 330.06. Then below that, we have a daily low of 327.86. And then below that, we have the real important ones, 327.73. It's both a monthly low and a weekly low to get to fill the gap. I'm sorry. That's the low to fill a monthly gap of 327.23. I apologize. And then the weekly gap gets filled at 326.63. Those are the ones I don't want to see get filled. At least not now. Those would be nice targets after we make a new all-time high. And I'll show you on the charts basically what I mean. So let's go to the charts. Again, this is a little longer, but a lot of different things transpired here. So I think it's worth it for you guys and gals to see. Monthly. Has anything changed in the monthly after this flush? Of course not. We're one-time framing up for 4 months. We're still above all these highs. We still have the all-time high as our next destination. Nothing has changed in the monthly. Weekly. Has anything changed in the weekly? No. Did we get back inside last week's range? We did. We're not thrilled about that. But look, we've also been one-time framing up 6 weeks. That's why it's healthy to trade sideways a little bit. Bottom line is our goal is still the all-time high, right? Obviously, we have to now come out of last week's high of 334.88. But if we do that, the all-time high is still in our sights. And then the daily. This is the one, right? To turn the ship around or anything else you want to use, you're not going to see change in the monthly and weekly till you see change in the daily. Now, is an outside day down bearish? Yeah, it is. It's not as bearish as an outside week down or month down, but it's bearish. Does that mean we could continue lower? Absolutely. Do I mind going lower? I do not. I wouldn't mind going now, right? We're in a 5-day balance. We could encompass this as a 5-day balance. I said, don't even look at today. I said this morning, it would be healthier to see these 4 days consolidate. Remember I said that in this morning's video and last night's video? And then this morning we gapped higher. Well, guess what? We're consolidating now anyway. I would like to see the consolidation stop at either this gap fill or I don't want to see us take out these 2 lows. Okay? That's what I would like to see hold. Between the gap fill and these 2 days lows. Trade sideways for a little bit, and then maybe next week go for the all-time high. All they did was absolutely punish anybody who got all giddy about the all-time high and went and put calls and everything for this expiration, this Friday's expiration, 339, 340 calls, thinking, hey, this is a layup. Well, guess what? Nothing's a layup in trading. And you have to learn your competition and who they are and what they're doing to you. And that's what they did today. Now, let's look at a couple of things. I know it's long, but I think it's important. Triple Qs, weekly, filled the gap. Right? So we are firmly in balance in the triple Qs. I told you, the ES, SPY, are going to hit their all-time highs as triple Qs are trading sideways. We're not going to go step for step, right? That's exactly, when we get them, that's how it's going to happen. We're now in a 2-week balance. Remember, markets don't go bull bear. So they went bull, balance, bull. Well, we're back to balance. The question is it only a 2-week balance? Or are we going to come and encompass all this as a balance? That remains to be seen. If we're going to go to our all-time high, I wouldn't doubt if we encompass all this in the triple Qs. That's for my money's worth what we're looking at. And then the other one we were looking at is the Russell. So let's look at it. Now, it's only Tuesday. Monthly, we took out that month's high, still healthy. Weekly, that's an ugly looking candle, no doubt, but we're still above last week's high. So maybe it's just a little consolidation. Well, it remains to be seen. Right? We're one-time framing up still. Daily, did we take out yesterday's low? 156.65. We did. But we didn't have an outside day down. We closed inside yesterday. So, again, we broke out of balance. Balance up. Balance up. Balance. There's nothing wrong with that. Getting consolidation like that, there's nothing wrong with it. So, for my money's worth, all that was weak longs and shorts piling on in the SPY. So we'll see what happens now. Anyway, I hope you had a good day trading. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.